the research students and faculty members because it is related to the designing all well-crafted questions. We know that well-crafted questions are the foundations of high-quality research and publication, professional progress, advancement of scientific knowledge, and better prospectus for our future generation. Once we know how to make effective research questions, we become more confident in carrying out our research. Without any further delay, I would like to introduce our respected speaker for today's section, Dr. Syed Muhammad Farid Hasan, who is currently serving as the chair of the Pharmaceutics Department, University of Karachi. He has a very rich experience of the pharma industries, where he served for around 5 years and administration for more than 2 decades. He did a B.Pharm, M.Phil, and PhD in bioequivalence and pharmacokinetics from the University of Karachi. Besides Pakistani universities and colleges, he also served at College of Pharmacy, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. As a research, Dr. Farid Hasan has made significant contributions to the pharmacy profession in terms of shaping and inspiring a new generation of pharmacists. He supervised more than 12 MPhil and PhD students, and many others are pursuing their research under his supervision. He authored and co-authored more than 50 research papers published in renowned national and international journals. He has given many papers and posted presentations at national and international conferences. In addition, recently he has given lectures related to scientific writing at a reputable centers at University of Karachi. With these few words, I will request respected Dr. Farid Hasan to join the session. Thank you.
All the participants. First of all, I am thankful to giving back to Pharmacy in Pakistan fellows who has given me an opportunity to share some of the information related to the designing of the research questions. And I am very thankful for them for this present session. Inshallah, I hope that all the participants will learn a lot from today's session. And you know that in this session, Dr. Marium Abid is also being with me, and he gives you some points related to the pharmacy practice research. In addition, we have some activities as well. So I will try to manage the session within time frame, and I need your attention so that at the end, when we have some questions, you will be able to easily answer all these questions. So let us start the session. And first, I want to read the disclaimer. I have not received any financial or commercial funding for this session. No commercial technical interest in today's presentation. And specific that I have no specific conflict of interest, and I have no financial relationship with this and I will not discuss off-level investigation in research. Now, these are some of the learning objectives, and we try to meet all these research objectives. And I hope that at the end of the session, all the participants will be able to answer all these questions. First objective of today's session is we should be able to define the term research as applied to the academic field. We should know various difficulties we may face in the designing of the research questions. We should know the importance of carefully crafted questions, and we should know the various ways is the right topic. And finally, we are doing what activities and this company using the development of the research questions related to the clinical pharmacy research. And finally, we will learn something about the pharmacy network that will be helpful in defining the question. So before starting the first slide, we all know that usually the first question asked to a research scholar is related to his research topic. Maybe the question is, what is your research question? This is the first question asked by many fellow students and the faculty members as statistician whenever the researcher come up with an interesting idea. However, to reach such idea, it needs time and effort, and it has been reported in the literature. And there are 3 out of 10 articles published need rebuilding of the question. So it is very important to have the proper question for the research. And it is also to be noted that there is no shortage of the good questions. We succeed to get a good question, but still we remain surrounded by others. So it is necessary that when we start our research and when we reach to a research topic, we will carry out the research, and at times when we get new questions and when we come to research of the limitation of our study, we may write it down. Maybe we give it in our thesis. Maybe we give it in the paper so that the research process will go smoothly without any hindrance. So, what is the term research? It is simply defined and solving the problem, observing the facts and their interpretation, hypothesis through experimentation, theories and laws, and the practical application of the information already given. And I think that, and you all know that one of the most important things related to the research is observing the fact and their interpretation. This is very important because you know that being a scientist, we should be able to synthesize the data, and we should be able to interpret the data so that this is very important outcome for I'm researcher, and I hope that we as a researcher should work according to this particular definition. And you know that today's this modern research is normally based on the logic, reason, and the evidence. This is the essence of the essential part of the modern research. Now comes to the second topic, which is related why it is difficult to design a research question. This is divided into 2 parts. First is related to the early career researchers, and the second one is the experienced researchers. For the early career researchers or for the research students, we know that at the time of the admission or at the time of the coursework, they have to give a research topic. They have to write a research topic, maybe 1 page. But at the time of writing, they may have no idea how to select a suitable topic. And due to this, the reason may be that no formal training is given in their graduation studies, and as a result of which they are not able to decide a good research topic for their research, and this ultimately affect the topic selection, synopsis research, and the dissertation. And I've seen, and you also know that many students lose a year or 2 in deciding their topic, and later they try to modify their topic. This leads the dissertation, and this gives them the frustration. And many may left, some may get the diploma. So this is all frustrating. We should think over it, and we should try to make the research question at the early stage. Maybe we spend much time on it, but later our work will go smoothly. Similarly, if I talk about the experienced researchers, they also feel difficulty because they are impacted by the external pressure of the science, time, funding, and the resources, and they are also pressure to publish, as a result of which they may not get enough time to design their research question properly, and as a result, they may feel difficulty at the later time. So I think that related to the early researchers, some formal training in terms of the posters, in terms of the conferences, in terms of any other source should be given the students so that the students come in contact with the faculty. They know how to carry out the research, and as a result, they get some idea and they feel better during the later time when they start their research and they start their career. Now, why it is necessary to carefully design a research question, and when I read and when I was preparing for the presentation, I come across many literature and in one of the book. It is assumed that as a researcher, we are standing near a scene and we want to stand and we want to swim. When we are starting the research and we want to read it in the paper of the researcher, but we have no idea that how to move on. And you know that at the time we have the confusion and the fear. And we had the fear of going or whether we float. So we have 5 point related to our journey, that whether we reached our destiny or not. And for this, we know that we should acquire the skill of swimming in order to pass the sea and in order to reach our destiny. So this, as I assume here, we assume our research journey, and for this research journey, we should equip ourselves with the useful skills, we should equip ourselves with the knowledge and the skills and the resources also that we pass the journey easily without any difficulty. And as a result of this, there will be no distraction. Now coming to another slide, and another paper which I read, I found that the scientific inquiry is just like building a house. When we are building a house, we have to take care of the floors and the ceilings and the architect, each and everything. And if you are not able to build a good house, later we feel challenges in living, or even we are not able to sell it properly. So as similar is the case, the scientific inquiry, it is based on the various component, and it is necessary to know each and every component. And first of the most important component is the designing of the research question. So we should keep an eye on all these aspects before carrying out our research, and this will be very helpful in the upcoming. Now, how to find the right topic, and for this, when you go to the literature, inside the literature, you will find so many books, even many books are available and related to the right topic. And here, because of the limitation of the time I have taken some points which will be helpful, and maybe in the later cases or in the later sessions, we will further elaborate that how we get the right topic or how we generate our own idea, and that will be helpful in the designing of the question. So previous courses, new data, current development, topical subject, and the personal experience. These may be some of the ways that are helpful in the designing of a research question, and we will discuss one by one. Now coming toward the first one, which is related to the previous courses. For example, we should think about the courses which we have covered and where we come about the unresolved issues, and these issues fascinate us. So for deciding a good topic, it is necessary to go back on the notes and read the particular explanation. Maybe some of the points which are not clear at that time, maybe we will work on it. And you see that during my graduate studies, I attended a course related to the industrial pharmacy. And in this particular course, I found that the mixing of the granules or the powders, we need a different type of blenders. And in these blenders, two types of mixing are there, which is predominant. One is the shear mixing and the other one is the diffusive mixing. So besides this, if we want to have the convective mixing also, we have to add a buffer, or we have to add something that would create such type of mixing. So from this we get an idea that what about the other mixers? If I want to have convective mixing as well in it, how can I change the geometry, or how can I change the structure of the mixer so that beside the diffusive and the convective, diffusive and the shear mixing, I also get the convective mixing as well. So you see that from this previous note, we get an idea and that fascinates us. And as a result, we get a clue, we get a point, and we have and we may work on it. Similarly, being a scientist, we come across with the new data, and the sources of the new data is the government department. And you know, in the pharmaceutical sciences, we are getting the data from the various regulatory authorities, WHO, like FDA, and so many other European Union, so many other sites at the other giving us the data, the statistics, government department, giving us the statistics from time to time, and as a result of which we can work on it and we can test on it. So this is also a good starting point. For example, if we go to the WHO website, you find WHO perspective related to the leprosy, where they have shown that the leprosy is a neglected tropical disease in more than 150 countries, and more than 200,000 new cases has been reported every year. So the transmission rate is increasing year by year, and as a result, the WHO is trying to get an epidemiological data on the leprosy from the member state, and this is the revision from 2021 to 2030, so that we completely get zero leprosy rate. So you see that from this website, we get an idea related to the leprosy, and for this we can generate our own idea, and we will work with it or with other international agencies that will be helpful. And that will bring us also. Similarly, if we talk about some of the current development, you know, is continuously going on, and as a result of this, we should keep an eye on it. Maybe a new book nowadays, you know, that the artificial intelligence is going ahead. Similarly, the nanotechnology. Similarly, you may read an article or something which is debatable. For example, according to the BCS classification system, there may be some drugs that fall in the BCS class 2, or they may fall in the BCS class 4. So as a result of this, there will be some debate in some of the points. So this may be our starting point. And here I have listed one of the news which is available on the net, that the University of the Cambridge, they have designed an AI-based strategy in order to identify the proteins, in order to block the proteins that characterize the Parkinson's disease, that is affecting more than 6 billion people worldwide, and it is maybe projected to triple by 2040. So as a result of which these scientists they have tried the AI approach in order to get the better treatment option for this particular disease, and this will decrease the time of getting the potential treatment of this particular disease, and maybe we have many other diseases for which we have no treatment. As it is written here, that no potential treatment for the Parkinson's disease patient is there, and if all the treatment option may be there, but how to get the potential treatment option quicker and the faster, this we get it from the AI based tool, and we may apply it on the on the other diseases as well. So you will see from this we get an idea about the current developments and so on. Similarly, topical subject, we should keep our eye on, and we should see what is going on in the newspapers, in the media, and in other in the social media. So it will be very helpful. Recently, it's reported that hospital in the Karachi registered the influx of the patient with the measles. Many cases of the measles are reported because of the warming condition in Karachi, and the physicians are very much concerned because the children are mainly affected, and maybe it is recommended here that the children should be vaccinated. But beside the children, it is also necessary to check persons around the children, so that may be the servants, drivers, co-workers, and the relatives. So whether they are vaccinated or not. So from this we get an idea. Maybe we carry out a research survey in order to check that whether the people or the caregivers of the children are properly vaccinated, and if they are not vaccinated and get affected, they may be the transporting the disease to their young one, which is around. So the topical subjects we get it from time to time, and we will work on it, and this may also be a good start for other research. No, if you get nothing from the previous examples, you may use your own experience, and you may use their own personal experience, and that will be also very helpful. And I must say that the workplace where we are performing our work, this is the best place because that particular place we are around so many problems. So many problems are coming from time to time, and we want to have the solution. Maybe some of the problems are such that we can use it as a research idea. For example, during the hospital training, I found that some of the patients need medication urgently, but they have to wait in a queue for a longer period of time, and maybe some left hospital because of the too much rush and purchase their medicine from the nearby pharmacy. So, what may be my strategy for those patients that require the medication urgently because of their severe conditions, but due to the rush at the pharmacy, they are not able to communicate with the pharmacist, and they are not able to get the medicines directly right away. So this may be my starting point, and this is my personal experience, which and a good idea which may be further refined, and this may be helpful for the society as well as for the patient that need medication. Now, at that point, I must say that we must move toward our first activity, and this activity is related to the designing of the research questions. I suggest you to write as many research questions as possible that come in your mind, and noted that these research questions, you should have interest to do your research on it. So I suggest and request to write down some of the questions that come in your mind as much as possible, and you should be interested to do your research work on it, and later we will refine those questions as well. Now, from onward, Dr. Marium Abid will tell you something about the pharmacy practice research, and then I will continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Syed Mohammed Farid. Your insights on the topic were truly enlightening. Before we dive into the content, I would like to thank Giving Back to Pharmacy and my respected Dr. Syed Mohammed Farid to giving me the opportunity to share this platform with you guys. So before we dive into the content, I would like to introduce about the importance of pharmacy practice. As you know, as a practitioner, as a pharmacist, as a community pharmacist, in a community pharmacy, we cater a lot of challenges in healthcare problems. If patient is challenging, or if patient has any problem which is complex, we need to have a scientific discipline that studies the different aspects of pharmacy. As you know, that the pharmacy practice is the integral part of the healthcare system, and its main function lies in healthcare systems, medicine use, and patient care. Its importance and scope over the past 55 years has evolved a lot much, and now pharmacists are counseling, advocating patients, and their role has emerged a lot. Now we are talking about how to make a scientific question that has meaningful outcome and meaningful result that can have probably good results. In pharmacy or in pharmacy practice, we use evidence-based approach. There are various approaches, but today in this session, we are emphasizing on PICO approach. PICO approach has all the elements which needs to be covered to answer a scientific question in a meaningful way. In PICO, which is acronym PICO, in PICO, P stands for population, patient, or problem. In this, you have to be very specific. If you're not specific in your question, or your question is too vague, unbiased, so you will not be able to answer your query, and still you are confused at the end. So you need to be clear at first. Your problem, your outcome should be measurable. Your answer should be understandable. So in PICO, population, patient, or problem, your problem should be specific. Your population, like population characteristics, like sex, gender, from where your population you are considering, or what kind of patient it is, what its gender, what's the area of that kind of population, the sample from which you are taking. So this needs to be very specific. For example, if I am talking about the cancer patients, so over the world there are a lot of cancer patients. So you need to be specific that from where you are picking your sample for that population. So who are the patients? What is the problem? That needs to be identified. The second I in PICO is intervention or exposure. Like what you are doing, what do we do now? What is the intervention and what is your role now to overcome that problem? So intervention or in exposure, we can use new drug therapy or a new drug treatment or a different drug over a certain period of time. So there should be intervention should be a new tool, uh, new way to treat that ailment. So now in PICO, C means comparison. In comparison, you should have the controlled group, whether it is placebo, whether it is active, whether you are comparing with the other drug. So from which you are comparing, your intervention is comparable to what? So you need to decide here that what do we compare the intervention with? And the third one is outcome. That is what you are expecting from your question, what you are expecting, and what is the measurable outcome of your question. So question needs to be specific. It should have defined outcome, defined problem, defined intervention, so that you can research your question to have like for example, if you need to search your question in PubMed or in different databases, so you need to be specific. If you are not specific, you will have a lot of literature and you are confused at the end at what to choose, what to decide, what I'm doing. So this is very important. So here is a research question. Do patients with HIV infection have better outcomes when they take statin? So here we will apply the PICO strategy. As you all know that in PICO, P stands for population, intervention, comparison group, and outcome, which is useful for ensuring that your research question contains all the necessary elements. So in population, as I told you, who will you study? So you need to be specific. There are a lot of HIV patients around globally in the world, so you cannot take all of them. So you need to be specific. Here I have taken hospitalized patients of HIV from ABC hospital, any specific hospital like civil hospital or any other hospital, but you need to be very focused. Now its second phase, that is intervention. What will you do? Like you are giving them a specific statin, atorvastatin, or any other statin for a certain period of time. So what is your intervention? What you are doing? What is your action? So it should also be specific. The third one is comparison group, from which you are comparing your intervention. Okay? So in this, maybe you can have HIV patients not receiving statin therapy or HIV patient receiving a different lipid lowering agent. So it's up to you that from which intervention you are comparing it and what is your control group. So you need to be very clear on it. The third one is outcome. Like what will you measure? Like we measure a lot of things. We can measure LDL, HDL, triglyceride, or viral load. So the outcome should also be specific. We also measure outcomes like morbidity, mortality. So in that case, the population or the sample size should be enough. We cannot measure these in short or in small number of people. So now we have two questions, and you can do it right now or on your feasibility. Number one is, how do patients with limited health literacy understand and manage medications? And the other one is, how do patients understand the transition from brand medication to generic equivalents? Thank you, Dr. Farid, for giving me the opportunity to speak here. I hope that my presentation is presentable or understandable to you. And now it's all over to Dr. Syed Mohammed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marium. You have given a very good presentation related to the pharmacy practice, and I hope that all the participants have learned it from that particular presentation. And so these are some of the questions which we have asked, and I request to give the answer of this. Maybe at the end of the session, we will try to get the answer from you and check your level of comprehension, that how much you get it from that particular session. There's a problem moving the slide, so I request you to wait for a while so that we will check our system. Now the next question is the next slide is related to how to refine a research question. And you should all keep in our mind that a well-established research question may not necessarily be good. Although we have tried Cooper approach and the scientific approach, if we read the literature, we will find 10 other approaches also available that are helpful in designing the research question. But Although we have tried our best to have a well-established research questions that will be told you that it may not necessarily be good, it is necessary to refine it. And one framework to refine the question is known as the framework approach or the framework. This is a part of the board, there is some other was also there, but I'm limiting it to F for physical, interesting, understand the way so this is done by what each component of this framework and how we will check it about people based question on the basis of this particular framework. So we all know that what is feasible. Feasible means that it means that the research question it should be within the ability of the investigator to carry out. So it is necessary to design a research question and you being a researcher is able to easily carry out that particular research question. And in the feasibility, we have to check the resources, whether the resource available. For example, if you are working and you need an HPLC, and this HPLC is not available in your lab, then how you carry out the research because you have no equipment. Similarly, important thing is the funding from where you get the funding. What is the cost of your project? Other important and the most important thing I say at the present time is at the present time is the time how much time you devote to your research project. Maybe we at time we get a very good research project, but we have the time limitation, time constraint, and we are going to give time in the future. So we should limit our time. Maybe one way to have the time limits is to have some timetable in which we will move our research according to that particular timetable. And we have to keep on our mind other commitments when we are deciding the time. Participant availability, personal expertise. For example, if you are working something related to the artificial intelligence, but we have no expertise on the artificial intelligence, then how we carry out our research. So it is very necessary that planning a research question, feasible research question, it increases the success of the project completion. And one more thing I want to add here that sometimes we get a research question to be feasible. We get a research question and it appears to be feasible. For example, we started research and this is based on the field study. But later, when we have started the study, we find many problems. If we are getting the problems, we have to note it down and we have to document it with honestly in our thesis so that the other will not account all those problem. Similarly, it is also necessary to discuss it with the colleagues and the mentors and the supervisors that what problem I may face in my research project and how we gather those problems so that we keep in our mind that if such something is not available, how we carry out our research. So it is better to have all these things at the start of the research rather than at a later stage because at that time it may be difficult to refine the question because we have submitted for synopsis and our time is also going on. The next important thing is is that our project should be interested. And if you go to the last point, this slide, if you are interested, we will make it interesting to our readers as well. So the most important thing is that we should select a topic in which we have interest. If we have interest, we will perform well. For example, there may be some people who want to meet, want to travel, want to meet, want to interview other persons, etc. So I think that for these people, for the students, survey-based study is best because it is according to their attitude, and this will exactly suit them. Similarly, there are some students who feel comfortable when they work in the lab. So for those, it is better to have a research project where they confine them in the lab and they do the bench work. So if we select a topic and this topic is according to our interest, then it will boost up. It will give us the motivation because we are going to perform, to do the research maybe 1 year, 2 years, maybe 4 years in the PhD. Sometimes 2 to 4 years are required in completion of the project. Maybe 1 or 2 years are required simply the testing and so on. So it is necessary to have the level of our motivation. Our level of motivation should be as high as we start the project. It should not be down as the time passes. Now the next thing is the novelty. Novelty, I think that the novelty means that there is something new. By novel, I think as you should all know that the novel means that is something new that is not available. That is the gap that is not available in the literature, and we want to add a drop of knowledge in the current literature. Sometime when we start our research project and later we found that this research and the related research can easily be get from the published literature. So we become very much frustrated. So it is necessary to have a thorough literature research. In order to get rid of all this problem, it is necessary to have a thorough literature research by using the various research engines to get the thing what is known and what is unknown. And this will give us the novelty in our project, and this will give us to do our work that is publishable in the high impact journals as well. In order to get some novelty, maybe we get novelty. There may be some studies available where maybe the sensitivity of the method is low. For example, an HPLC method reported where the sensitivity is low. So we tried to develop a method where we increase the sensitivity of the method. So this is the novelty. We increase the sensitivity of the method by developing our own method, and this will let us some improvement in the current literature. Similarly, sometimes we also are able to replicate the existing work. For example, if I talk about the pharmacokinetic studies that may be conducted in Europe or America, but maybe we do not get the same result in the Asian population or some other population. So we may replicate the work, particularly the work that is conducting. In terms of the pharmacokinetics, sometimes we see variation in the Cmax and Tmax and the area under the curve and so on. Some important parameters of the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination. So we may carry out the work here, and we get the data, and this data will be very helpful, and it will be also helpful in deciding the dose in a particular population, maybe something is related to the pharmacogenetic makeup cytochrome P450 or some other enzymes that are changing the kinetics and the effects of the patient, and maybe the patient may not be feeling side effects in the lot of other countries, but maybe they face here. So this is very important, and we may think about it as well. Now the last thing, and I think that this is ethical and the feasible, and I told you these are the two important things, and this is, I think I said that these are the barriers, and we should come across the barriers, and we should tackle these barriers properly. So when we are dealing with the human subject, this is one of the most important thing, most critical and most sensitive thing I say, that when we are doing our research and when we are doing our study in the human subjects, we should keep in our mind that there should be no harm to the potential participants. So we should have the conversation with the subject area, with the subject specialist, and before carrying out any such type of the studies, it is mandatory to have the study by the institution review board, that is the IRB is responsible for reviewing studies, so that there is no harm on the human subject. Maybe during the study and after the post-studies and post-study circumstances. And similarly, it is also necessary to have the approval letters from the authorities who will be conducting the research, so that it is reproduced in the thesis as well as in the publication where the journals require the proper consent and proper documentation work. Similarly, in this particular thing, it is in this particular thing, it is also necessary to have the consent from the volunteers, and we should not push. We should not force the volunteer to participate in the study. Maybe a time. We should not force our office workers or the students to participate. The volunteers may voluntarily participate in these studies. They have the right to withdraw at any time of their at any time during the study. So these are very important things we should keep. Our project should be ethical in terms of the human subject, and we should safeguard the safety of all the subjects which have participated in our clinical studies. And the last thing which I say is the relevancy. The research question, it should be relevant. It should influence the present and the future society, need as well. I think that our research should be productive. It should be helpful to all the stakeholders, society, academia, industry, our future generation. So we should keep in our mind that what problems that we are facing, and we should try to have our research in this and the impact on the society and the communities and our in each sector. So the topic should be relevant, and it should influence the research design. It should help us in deciding, and it should help us the future generation to work on and to start their own research, and our research may act as a reference for all those studies. Now, coming to first the last, second or third slide, and this is my activity. We have learned up till now PICO approach and the final approaches. We know how to design the question, how to design a good question by using the PICO approach, and now we are able to refine the question using the final approach. So in the activity one, we have some of the questions, and I request you to characterize your questions, define your questions, and then compare your questions with the initial questions, and check it that what change you observe and whether your level of confidence boost up or still is very helpful, because it gives you an idea. It gives you an idea that how we design our questions when we know nothing and we know something, and how we refine the question by using the final approach and by using some of the points which I have discussed here. No, one important thing is that what if research question is not final? So it means that when you design the question, then you repeat your code, and when you refine the question by using the final approach, and when you are refining the question by using the final approach, and you find that this is not up to the mark, then you go back to the PICO approach and again work on it, and then again test it by using the final approach. So these are some of the strategies. For example, if the project is not feasible, you may specify, you may increase you may narrow the question. Similarly, you have to extend the inclusion criteria. And similarly, if you are dealing with the topic in which you are looking the skills, you have to learn the skills before carrying out the research. Similarly, take in mind if your research is very expensive, you try to limit it down according to your resources, and maybe you show it in the thesis as well, that because of these constraints, we are not able to carry out an expensive study, but at the circumstances we have designed our study. Similarly, if our study is not interesting, we have to consult with the mentors and the others, so that our research is interesting, and we have to make it interesting, so that we have the motivation to our project. So this is something related. But if the research question is not final. So this is all about from my side. I tried to complete the presentation as early as possible. I tried to limit the slides. I tried to give you some insight related to the research questions. Maybe at times I'm not able to clarify each and everything because of the time constraint and because of the other limitations. So maybe we have started the session late because of the some technical issues. But still, I expect that you have learned many things from this session, and that will be very helpful in the designing of the research questions and defining on the research question. Now, coming towards the before ending the session, I would like to have the activity 3, and this activity is related to some of the questions, and these questions are related to the presentation which I have given to you. So let us read the first question. In this question, why it is difficult to design a research question? Why it is difficult to design a research question, and the options are given to you: lack of training, limited time to decide, institutional pressure, all of the above means A, B, C, all are correct. And I have to wait for a while so that the poll generated, and then I will give you the right answer of this question. Maybe most of the students are trying their best to get the right answer. So out of 38, only 14 have given the answer till now. 40% of the attendees they have given the answer, and I think that most of them are closer to the right answer. That is the B option, all of the above. That is the lack of training, limited time to decide. Lack of training means it is related to the new researchers, limited time to decide, institutional pressure. This will be related to the experienced researchers. So altogether, we may say that the D option may be the right option for that particular question. Now coming towards the second question, and you see, which of the following is a bad research question? You see, first, formulation of meloxicam tablets by direct compression. Second option, B option, formulation and optimization of meloxicam tablets. C section, option C, formulation and in vitro characterization of meloxicam tablets. And finally, D, formulation in vitro in vivo evaluation of the meloxicam tablets. And you see that as the poll is generating, I am checking that 0% is interested in the B option, and A and D is going well. Most of the students they are thinking that the option A is better, but let me tell you the right answer. Yes, the right answer again is the D option, which is a formulation in vitro in vivo evaluation of the meloxicam tablet. Now, if you closely see these questions, you find that formulation of meloxicam tablets by direct compression, it appears to be a good question, but better options are there. So comparatively to this, let us move to the second, formulation and optimization of complex of meloxicam tablet. This also gives you an idea, but again you see that the method of manufacturing is not given here. You see the third option, formulation and in vitro characterization of the meloxicam tablets. That's also good, and instead of optimization, a word in vitro characterization has been added. So this is also good. But the last question, if you see the last option, formulation and in vitro, you see this is too much. This is the research question in which you are going to characterize in vitro as well as in vivo. So this is a broad question, and naturally it will take much of your time, and as a result, this may be regarded as a bad question of this the second of the second question. Now coming towards the question number 3. Maybe now we are discussing question number 8. Question number 8, you have a time for it, and you see that for the question number 8, all are correct. Mashallah, all are correct. But let me see what is the pool. Actually, the pool, what is the pool going on? But before this, I think that we should go to the option C as well. But before going to previous questions, most of the students have given all of the above. This is very good. Good response, 100% correct. The option is D, and you all get the answer. Now, I request to have the question which we left from question 3 to question 7 to have a look on those questions. Please, question 3 as well. Now, coming to the question number 4. What happens if a research question is not well designed? It affects study design, it affects interpretation, it affects publication. And let's see what's the correct answer. Let us see the answer. You have the time, and the quiz ended, and all of the above, that the correct answer again is the D. All of the above, it affects the study design, it affects the interpretation, and again it affects the publication. So coming towards the next question. Now coming towards the question number 5. Which of the following frameworks used for the refining of the research question? Pico, Spider, Finer, Spice. So you see that beside Pico, as I told you, Dr. Marium Abid also told you that other approaches are also there, but because of the time constraint, we are not able to give you insight related to the spider and the spice technique. So up till now, you have learned Pico and Finer, but you have to decide which one of the following framework is used for the refining of research question, and you see that still 6 of the participants they are thinking about Pico, and 9 participants are thinking Finer. And again, you see the correct answer is Finer here. Finer is used for the refining of the research question. Now coming to the question number 6, we have a time limit to answer this question. Which of the following component of the Finer is related to the human subject? Very important question, and I emphasize the lecture as well. Feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and let us have the time pass so that you get the right answer on the screen. And you see the right answer again. You all know very well, mashallah. The D is the right answer. Ethical, which of the following component of fun is related to the human subject. We should be very, very careful when we are dealing with the human subject. Our project should be ethical. We should not give any harm to the human subject during the study or before and after the study as well. Now coming to one of the important questions, which is from the clinical side. A clinical pharmacist wants to examine the effectiveness of a new medication therapy management program for patients with chronic disease. What is the P in the PICO framework? And single choice is mentioned here. So let us think of it and try to have the answer. Yes, the answer is correct. Patient with the chronic diseases. This is the option A. The option A is the right answer. Patient with the chronic diseases is the right answer, and it is helpful in examining the effectiveness. Now coming toward the question number 9. All are related to the good PICO approach except no specific background information, specific well-defined term and outcome, captures each element for a focus question, and last one, all of the above. So let us wait for a while so that we get the right answer right on our screen. Yes, the right answer is no specific background information. This is the right answer for this question. Now, maybe one or we have left one or two questions. Question number 3, I request to have the question number 3 so that you read and try to get the answer of that. Question number 3, please. Yes, thank you so much. Now, question number 3. The question is, which of the following may be the last option for getting an interesting idea? This is according to our present lecture. But keep in mind that this is not always be the right. But according to the lecture elements and according to the lecture slides which I have covered and which I have read from some of the books, which of the following may be the last option for getting an interesting idea according to the presentation given here? So we have to wait to see the right answer on the screen. Yes, the correct answer. The correct answer is the personal experience. Personal experience is very good. So basically, you know that majorly we get the idea from the other sources, but at last, if we didn't get some good idea and we are not confident with the particular idea, so we may work on it. It is related to the personal experience, and maybe we have to refine that, which is directly related to the society or related to our workplace. Now, one question, maybe the question number 10. I think that we have also mixed question number 10 as well. If you have question number 10 on the screen, so again, we have an opportunity to answer it as well. So maybe some technical problem, we are not getting the last question. Okay, so I think that we have learned many things from today's session, and maybe you have some questions, but the time is over. And still, if you have some questions, you may ask it right. So you may unmute your mics if anyone want to ask something from me or from Dr. Marium Abid. We are here to answer your question. Although the time is over, but still, if we try, if it is manageable. This is the question number 10. What is the main reason of using PK approach in pharmacy practice research? And you see the answer is already given to systematically search answers to the clinical questions. And 6 out of 19 participants have given the right answer, but the rest may be somewhat confused. Now I request Mr. Marium Abid to close the session, today's session. And I'm again grateful to our fellows, our senior pharmacists who are struggling for the advancement and the revival of the pharmacy profession in Pakistan. And I'm happy that also I'll be a part of this team, and I'm available to share my knowledge and expertise whenever they give me an opportunity to share.
Thank you, Dr. Farid, for an outstanding presentation. Your expertise shine through in the way you broke down complex complex concepts into actionable takeaways. I'm grateful to share the visual stage with you all. Thank you so much giving back to pharmacy in Pakistan, giving us the opportunity to speak up in your webinar. Hopefully this webinar is presentable, and you may, inshallah, it will be beneficial for you in the future. Thank you so much.